exclusive hot new mix. Hot shit. Hot shit. Let's go. Go.
And speaking of something needing to happen, something needs to happen to this fucking racist referee. Did you see that shit that happened with the high school wrestler that had to cut his dreads before his fight?
What the fuck we're at?
Oh, you didn't see this? Oh, let me load this bad boy up. Referee Alan Maloney tells high school wrestler he must cut his dreadlocks or forfeit his match. Now, this is trending online on Twitter. Because ain't nobody ever seen nothing like this. As you can see for those watching, this high school wrestler, Andrew Johnson, was getting ready to go into his championship match. The referee was like, oh, no, your dreadlocks don't fit the protocol. And so he said, hey, either cut your dreadlocks off or forfeit the match. And so the kid is in the championship. He wants to win. So this white woman came over with scissors and they just cut his dreadlocks off. You see the kid won the fucking match right here. He's all digested. The ref is trying to hold his hand up. He walks away or whatever. The kid had to had to cut his dreadlocks off in front of everyone before he could go on with this fight or this match. Now, this dude, Mike Frankel, had tweeted out, epitome of a team player. A referee wouldn't allow Andrew Johnson to wrestle with a cover over his dreadlocks. It was either an impromptu haircut or forfeit. Johnson chose the haircut, then won by sudden victory in OT to help spur Buena Vista or whatever to a win. Now, a lot of people are upset about this because since when do black wrestlers need to cut off their dreadlocks, their very unique hair, if you will, for a match? Now, there's been a lot of reports.
I kind of think of the excuse. The excuse was the other fucker could have grabbed his hair and you would have got your hair pulled. One way or another, we would have put out one of these extensions.
So, and that was one of the things that came up was someone found the rule book. They were like, okay, let's find the rule book on hair. And the rule book says that you can't have hair that goes down to your shoulders. So like they found all the information of how the hair is supposed to go or whatever. And so it can't go so low. His hair didn't meet any of those requirements, or his hair didn't, go past any of those or whatever. So like what the actual law book said, his hair didn't fit the profile, any of that. Then he was told that he had to wear a cover over his head, because he had dreads and they were getting ready to have the match. And he told them before the match, oh, okay, yeah, I have a cover. And so they got ready to do the match. And then the ref was like, no, I'm not rocking with that cover. You need to cut your hair off or you going to forfeit the match. And then he gave him 90 seconds to make a decision or he was going to disqualify him for injury because his hair. Now, the part that makes all of this even worse is because, of course, something like this happens. And of course, African Americans, we see this and we're like, well, I've never seen a white person have to cut their hair before a wrestling match. So this is probably, racial. And then, of course, the white people come out, oh my God, you black people always, everything got to be racist. It's not racism. It's his hair. Well, no, it appears to be racism because this coach back in like 2005 got in trouble for calling a fellow referee the N-word. Yes. So
we know he leans on some side of a fence.
Yeah, there seems to be a pattern of a side of the fence that he seems to rock with. So this wrestling coach, Alan Maloney, used a racial slur at a social gathering of officials. Oh, actually, apparently this was in March. He had used the slur in an argument over homemade wine in a shore condominium after many of the officials gathered following a youth tournament in Wildwood in late March. Apparently, he claims that he didn't remember saying it, but everyone who was present was like, nah, nigga, we heard you say it. Like everyone was like, nah, he said N-word, hard R. He was on his Louis C.K. shit. Now, apparently, yeah, he had said it. The guy, the result was Maloney agreed to participate in sensitivity training and alcohol awareness. Apparently, he was drunk when he said the slur, and the black dude, the black coach that he said the slur to, apparently the coach either punched him or pushed him to the ground. But yeah, this is a racial thing, and for people who are like, oh, well, it's just hair. No, it's different. Dreadlocks take a long time. That takes a long time to do that. And so this isn't just
dedication.
Takes some dedication, some hard work to get there.
And if anybody wants to connect this bitch biblically, fucking the not the ritual, the Nazarene thing, the vow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying, to not cut that shit. Mind you, now it's more stylistic, and you know what I'm saying. I think we saw it really popularized with the fucking big ass Titan niggas from football. And then you see now with the youngins, but still, that still takes dedication. Hopefully, there's a vow with that. But at the same time, I wonder if that's what happened with him. He saw how fucked the situation was. God's like, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? This is going to happen to you. I'm going to give you all the fucking strength to knock this motherfucker out quickly.
Now, and some other people were saying that apparently there's been other incidences where wrestlers have had long hair and they've been able to put a wrap on it and go into their matches. But for some reason, this white ref, who also happens to say racial slurs when he gets drunk, told that black kid, hey, cut that shit off or you can't compete. So apparently he is under an investigation. He's not going to do any type of matches anytime soon. But I mean, honestly, I think this is another example of a racist motherfucker. And this again is kind of what we talk about the black experience and the reason why racism is still alive. And these are the things that we talk about when we're like, black people are treated differently. And this is another example. And it's, oh, no, that has nothing to do with race. Oh, yeah, black people are always looking for racism. No, look, he's also said the N-word. It's clearly racism. Yeah, that's the thing that I always say that I always find interesting with certain people who are like, oh, no, that has nothing to do with racism. And then I always ask them, so you agree that racism does exist, right? Oh, yeah, well, there is still some racism in the world. Then how come every time we point out instances of racism, it's like, that's not racism? You agree that racism still exists, but every account of it is like, nah, that's not it, though. Then what is racism?
Ain't that a coincidence?
It's just weird. I don't know. It's weird.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't like this podcast, it's probably cause you're racist.
Yeah.
Fuck your feelings, though.
Yeah. What's up, man? You hear me?